The final interview was personally handled by the female chief executive. The beautiful chief executive's first words were, "Marry me. Be my lover." I was utterly stunned. "Ma'am, I came for an interview, not a blind date." The beautiful chief executive stared into my face, refusing to let it go. "Put another way, the position is the chief executive's husband. Your duties are to be the chief executive's personal assistant. 200,000 yuan a month, plus a substantial year-end bonus. Do you want the job?" I hesitated for 1 second. "I'll do it. Thank you for the paycheck, boss." A year after we got married, my childhood friend, a girl, smugly told me, "You look a lot like the female chief executive's dead first love. You're just a dead man's replacement." Then it all made sense to me. "My friend, do you know where that guy is buried? Are you going to dig him up?" "No. I'm going to go in. By family villa, small sitting room." I pushed aside my childhood friend's smug, babyish face, then leisurely sipped my afternoon tea. Instead, my childhood friend grew anxious. "Don't you get it yet? You're only a dead man's replacement. You're just a rich woman's pet dog." I nodded gently. "I get it. Looking even a little like that first love is my good fortune. My friend, I really want to get ahead." My shameless bluntness made my childhood friend stamp her feet. "How can you still be so calm? Don't you feel any sense of danger?" I raised an eyebrow and answered unhurriedly, "We've been married for more than a year, and I've held this job just as long. Food, clothes, housing, and travel are all covered, and I get my full monthly salary. My year-end bonus alone is over 1 million yuan. Over the past year, I haven't done much real work, yet I've put away several million yuan in savings." My childhood friend was baffled. So, having your own money is the only way to have endless security. Besides, it's only my wife's ex who died. It isn't my wife, the one paying me, who died. Why would I feel threatened?" My childhood friend choked on her words, her eyes practically spinning. After a moment of silence, I remembered something. "My friend, could you help me find out where that first love is buried?" A flash of excitement crossed her face. "What? Are you going grave digging?" "No. I'm going to bow to him." My childhood friend instantly blew up. "Fangs, you seriously have no shame at all." I didn't like hearing that. I fired right back. "You mean I should give up money just to save face? Look at the life I have now. I earn several million yuan a year for doing nothing. What's so bad about being a dog?" My sincere question left my childhood friend completely speechless. Her rosy, babyish face visibly turned red. At last, she forced out a single word. My childhood friend stormed off in a huff. I continued enjoying my afternoon tea. The information my childhood friend brought me meant nothing to me. I was here to work. I wasn't really here to be the chief executive's husband. Thinking of my old life as a corporate slave at a small company, with managers all fat-faced and round as potatoes, calling at midnight to say I'd have to produce dragon fruit by dawn. What a miserable life. Back then, I worked myself to the bone for pathetic wages. Now I play the dog and earn tons of dog food. A few days later, by Family Villa's banquet hall, the party was in full swing. I had organized this cocktail party, using it to maintain relationships among elite families. It was one of my legitimate duties as the chief executive's husband. When men dominate a drinking party, sooner or later, the conversation inevitably turns to sexual gossip. Guys, check out this video. Famous businesswoman caught cheating at a hotel. I saw it. It just came out this morning. 99% real. What a scoop. Several wealthy young men gossiped in sleazy, flippant tones, while their eyes kept drifting toward me. A chill ran through me. I kept my composure and spoke evenly. "Oh who?" The young heirs exchanged strange looks. They could no longer hide their glee at my misfortune. Then they casually dropped a name. "By Ningbing. I think she's your wife." The heir instantly froze. Even I was not slow to understand now. In all of Shanghai, how many women could be called famous businesswomen? The first person anyone would think of was By Ningbing, Chief Executive Officer of Huxiang Group. My wife. Since taking this job, my first major workplace crisis had arrived without warning. Take a deep breath. Don't panic. I took out my phone and searched for the video. The video said a famous businesswoman had been caught cheating in a hotel. She clashed with the people accusing her, and in red liquid was splashed at the scene. As I watched, my mind raced. A moment later, I looked up. I faced the openly mocking stares around me. I raised my phone, gave it a light shake, and said with disdain, "This blurry piece of garbage? They actually had the nerve to post it? The media these days, all for clicks. They really have no shame." I casually handed my phone to our elderly butler beside me. "Uncle Mai, the Bai family has always kept a low profile, but we won't let random trash spread lies about us. Have the Bai family's legal and public relations team step in, gather the information, and preserve the evidence. Make sure outsiders understand. Our family's reputation isn't theirs to tarnish, and they don't get to use the Bai name for attention." Uncle Mai immediately took my phone. He bowed slightly. "Certainly, sir. I'll arrange it at once. As expected of a butler who had served the Bai family for years, he played along flawlessly. I held my head high and swept my gaze across the room. The guests looked embarrassed. My pointed, barbed remarks at least kept the situation from becoming too ugly. The party ended in a hurry. The guests left one by one, wearing knowing smiles. They left behind a messy room and the lingering taste of malicious delight. Meanwhile, I stood at the villa entrance, waiting for my chief executive wife to return. I was not putting on an act of deep devotion, nor was I preparing to question her. Anyone who has been a corporate slave knows the first rule of workplace survival. Doing the work matters, but even more important is making sure the boss knows you're doing it. After this whole mess today, I had to at least show my face in front of my chief executive wife. By evening, Bai Ningbing's car finally returned. Bai Ningbing looked exhausted. When she saw me waiting in the doorway, she looked surprised. What is it? Nothing. I was waiting for you. My tone was calm and gentle. You must be tired. Your bath is ready, at just the right temperature. The towels and robe are ready, all ultraviolet sterilized. Dinner will be plated shortly. I'll open a bottle of red wine first. By the time you've freshened up, the wine will have breathed. It'll be perfect for easing your fatigue. My stream of chatter left by Ningbing, the chief executive, slightly dazed. Oh, all right. Other than these small domestic matters, I didn't mention a single thing. In the dining room, Bai Ningbing ate quietly. I sat nearby, silently keeping her company. Suddenly, Bai Ningbing looked up at me. She spoke softly. What happened at the party today? Uncle Mai told me about it. You handled it very well. My face remained perfectly composed. It was simply my duty. Inside, though, I was wildly praising Uncle Mai. Well done, Uncle Mai. Nice. With that, I had met my performance target. For some time to come, I could keep living without a shred of guilt. Living like a spineless lapdog, being paid for doing nothing. The dining room fell silent again. Bai Ningbing lifted a glass of red wine. She took a small sip, as if speaking to herself. This morning, I did go to the hotel. It was a business event arranged by the company. When it was over, as we were preparing to leave, a group of people suddenly appeared, shouting that they had caught cheaters. They even threw an unknown red liquid at us. We've already called the police. For safety that afternoon, we went to the hospital for another examination. I heard my chief executive wife, Bai Ningbing, say all that and said nothing. I wasn't touching that subject. I'm just an employee. Why would I stick my nose into my boss's gossip? But before long, Bai Ningbing's gaze settled on me. I had no choice but to respond. Well, you don't need to explain any of this to me, do you? Bai Ningbing frowned. You're my husband. People are spreading sexual rumors about me. You're not jealous? The words flew out of my mouth. I'm just an employee. Why would I be jealous of my boss? What? Am I fucking crazy? Bai Ningbing set down her wine glass, shot me a gorgeous eye roll, and swept away. That night, a package was delivered to my room. It was tied with an emerald green ribbon. It was an exquisitely wrapped dark green gift box, and I opened it immediately. Inside were several women's garments. More precisely, a plain women's business suit. It was custom-made, with premium fabric. There were also several pairs of socks and other intimate personal items. The clothes appeared to have been worn. The fabric bore obvious creases and suspicious marks. The card enclosed with the box read, "The last time I met President Bai, I accidentally stained her clothes. Mr. Fang, please wash them for her." What the hell was this supposed to mean? The gift box was definitely meant for me, but the things inside clearly belonged to my chief executive wife. If Bai Ningbing and I had been a real married couple, this box would have been a knife straight through the heart. But the thing was, I was only a decorative husband for the chief executive. Sending a working stiff like me a box of my gorgeous boss's intimate clothing was practically a bonus in disguise. I suppressed the perverted thoughts rising in my heart. I wasn't stupid. Someone was clearly trying to start something. It was already late, so it wasn't convenient to approach Bai Ningbing herself. I took the gift box to Uncle Mai, the old butler. I knew my place. Some matters were beyond a small fry like me. The next day, my childhood friend seemed to have cooled off. She came to see me again. This time, she brought a large jug of homemade rice wine from our hometown. Holding her phone, my childhood friend shoved a video in my face. "Your wife has another man." The video's title read, "Famous businesswoman reportedly slandered. Young Master Wang of a prominent family defends her." It was just young Master Wang Dating, releasing a statement saying he believed in Bai Ningbing's character, that he would stand firmly by her side, and strongly condemning those who spread the rumors. Without a hint of panic, I told the kitchen to send over a few home-style dishes. Then I opened the jug of rice wine and pulled my childhood friend in for food and drinks. "Will you at least react?" I sighed helplessly. Young Master Wang Dating, has been lusting after Bai Ningbing, the Bai family's chief executive, for ages. Now that Bai Ningbing has been slandered, of course young Master Wang will seize the chance to score points with her. Right now, he's like a peacock with its tail spread. If he didn't stick his rear out a few times, that would be abnormal. And you don't mind. Now that I had something to say about the second rule of workplace survival. Chase money, not feelings. I cleared my throat and tried to reason with my childhood friend. You said it yourself. I'm only a substitute. My purpose is to let the chief executive remember the beauty of her lost first love, while mourning the regrets of fate and timing. As a qualified stand-in, that first love guy and I are somewhat alike in appearance, and somewhat alike in temperament. So long as the money is right, I'm a souvenir of her first love, a life-size collectible figure of him. I'm happy to make a living this way. What's wrong with getting paid while taking it easy? Why would I meddle in the boss's romantic entanglements? I'd have to be asking for trouble. After hearing all that, my childhood friend looked as if she were constipated. She lowered her head and drank in silence. In the dining room, my childhood friend and I quietly ate and drank. As we drank, I suddenly realized something vital. I quickly got up and found a porcelain bottle. I poured the little rice wine we had left into it, then sealed it for safekeeping. What are you doing? I shrugged, saving some as a gift for my CEO wife. You think your rich wife would want that? Of course she wouldn't, but whether she accepts it is one thing, and whether I give it is another. I patiently continued explaining. You're my childhood friend, so you count as my family. You came to see me with a hometown specialty. As her husband, I should at least make a gesture toward my wife. Even if she doesn't accept it, I can give it to the Bai family's butlers and staff. That's how social etiquette works. You're becoming quite the dutiful wife. Naturally, ignoring my childhood friend's sarcasm, I answered lightly. That casual reply only made her angrier. Thanks you. Cut the pointless crap and speak plainly. I was getting angry too. Shen Buyu. What exactly am I saying that's unclear? Do you really expect me to join you in bad-mouthing my wife? Yeah, my name is Fang. My childhood friend is Shen Buyu. Then I kept laying into her. What position am I in right now? I take the Bai family's money, eat from the Bai family's table, live in their house, and eat their food. Then after a few drinks, I'm supposed to turn around and insult them? Come on, have some conscience. My childhood friend clicked her tongue. She said no more. Rice wine may not be very strong, but its after effects linger. Before long, my childhood friend's eyes were already hazy with drink. She slumped over the dining table, propping up her pink cheeks with both hands, and began babbling nonsense. Thanks you. Do you really love living off rich women that much? Why don't you come live with me instead? My family is doing pretty well. We have 2 factories, 3 apartments, and a whole building that collects rent. Be my good little puppy, and your big sister will take care of you. No. I see you as a brother, and you've been lusting after my body. The corner of my mouth twitched. I didn't dare respond. Who knew how much truth there was in what she said? After mumbling a few more words, my childhood friend fell completely asleep. I let out a sigh of relief. I quietly watched the friend I'd grown up with. Over the last few years, the girl had filled out nicely. She had curves in all the right places. Her figure had matured, but her baby face hadn't. I couldn't let her sleep here. I'd move her to my room first. I gathered my childhood friend into my arms, then slowly hoisted her onto my shoulder. I grabbed the bottle of rice wine and slowly headed outside. With the rice wine bottle in one hand, and my friend slung over the other shoulder like a pig, I trudged out of the dining room. Then I was stunned to find a crowd blocking the doorway. At their head stood my beautiful CEO wife, Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing was as expressionless as ever, but the assistants, butlers, and others around her all wore extremely strange expressions. Bai Ningbing glanced at me, then turned away. She left behind one sentence. Warm the rice wine. I don't drink it cold. I'm screwed. She heard us. The question was, how much had she heard? For the next month, life returned to normal. I returned to my favorite routine, lying around like a corpse and shamelessly slacking off. Until one day, the guard at the gate came running over. Sir, there's a young girl outside asking to see President Bai. She looks a lot like you. President Bai isn't here right now. What should we do? Full of questions, I went with the guard to meet the girl at the gate. Sure enough, the girl's eyes and brows did resemble mine somewhat, but I was certain that, in my entire family tree, I had no relative like her. The girl stared at me blankly, then threw herself into my arms and sobbed, "Big brother." Then I understood. The girl didn't look like me. She looked like the chief executive's first love. She was that first love's younger sister. I immediately realized a major job had just landed in my lap. Workplace survival rule 3. When it comes to people your boss cares about, care even more than your boss does. As for whether my chief executive wife cared about this girl, all you had to do was look at the photograph of her first love on her desk to know the answer. That day, I spent a fortune. The girl's parents were gravely ill, and she had nowhere else to turn. So she came seeking help. I paid all their medical expenses outright. Then I took the girl around to eat everything in sight and shop until we dropped. Finally, I made one small request of her. That afternoon, at a cemetery, I stood before the grave of my wife's first love. I carried a Luo Yang shovel, then began filling in and sweeping the grave. As for why I had a Luo Yang shovel, you'd have to ask my dear childhood friend, Shen Buyu. I'd only asked her to help me get a couple of tools for visiting a grave, but when she learned I was visiting my wife's first love's grave, she sent over a hoe and a Luo Yang shovel. She even asked whether I needed an excavator. That crazy woman clearly had something wrong with her head. My visit to sweep my wife's first love's grave wasn't a spur-of-the-moment whim. I know what I look like. At best, I'm fairly decent looking. I'm nowhere near handsome. Yet, because I somewhat resemble her first love, I ended up living off my looks. So, to me, my wife's first love is my god of wealth, my good fortune, and my benefactor. If I didn't come pay my respects, I wouldn't feel right taking the several million yuan I make each year with a clear conscience. That evening, I brought the girl back to the Bai family villa. The moment she got the news, Chief Executive Bai Ningbing rushed back and pulled the girl tightly into her arms. Seeing that, I knew I'd made the right bet. Sure enough, early the next morning, I was called into Bai Ningbing's office. Bai Ningbing's voice was slightly hoarse. I know everything you did yesterday. Thank you. I could see Bai Ningbing was upset and not herself. So I quickly replied, "You're too kind. There is something I need your approval on." "What is it?" "Go ahead." I pulled a stack of receipts from my jacket. "Yesterday, for various expenses, I paid surgical and medical fees, caregiver fees, meals, clothes, and so on, including funeral supplies. The total came to 387,100 yuan. I have all the receipts. Could you reimburse me for it? I'll do the work. But working without pay is absolutely out of the question." Chief Executive Bai Ningbing froze. A moment later, her breathing seemed to grow heavier. "I understand. Now leave." I was ushered out of the office. Half an hour later, my bank balance had increased by 1 million yuan. Now that's more like it. I love bosses like that. So generous. Either nothing happens, or everything happens at once. Some say that describes a woman's period, but it also perfectly describes workplace trouble just as well. A few days later, another gift box appeared before me. It had an emerald green ribbon and a dark green box. It was identical to the last one. This time was even more shocking. Inside was a set of women's intimate clothing, along with what looked like a used condom. There was another card that read, "Thank you, Mr. Fang, for making this possible. We'll each have our own fun." I frowned, completely baffled. Something was off. Very off. If Bai Ningbing and I were a real married couple and deeply in love, then sending these things would make sense. They could seriously drive a wedge between us. The problem is, I'm only an employee in name, a completely useless husband. Why send these things to me? Why pick a fight with a decorative prop like me? There was clearly something deeper going on. I picked up the box, turned right outside, and called for backup. Soon, in the chief executive's office, two dark green gift boxes sat on the desk. President Bai. That's roughly what happened. After receiving the first gift box, I gave it to Uncle Mai and asked him to examine the clothing inside, including chemical testing, hair sampling, and so on. This is the report. I handed a document to Chief Executive Bai Ningbing. The report was lengthy, but its key points were simple. First, the clothes all did belong to Bai Ningbing. Second, the items had not been used at the same time. Third, several pieces had been washed and ironed, then artificially aged with deliberately added creases and other traces. Fourth, some had not been used for a long time and were old. So, in conclusion, this set of clothes had been deliberately assembled bit by bit over a long period. Bai Ningbing read the report carefully, her face turning livid. Yet her tone was unnervingly calm. "Uncle Mai, investigate it. There are few fools in wealthy families. For this to go so far, there was only one possibility. An outsider had colluded with an insider, but that was outside my job description. I'd better go back to being a good decorative husband." Half a month later, several Bai family wardrobe managers were detained, then handed straight over to the police. Then, personal attendants, cleaning staff, security guards, drivers, and more than a dozen others were fired and replaced. A month later, the Wang family of Hucheng went bankrupt. The Wang family's eldest son, Wang Dating, was held accountable for suspected involvement in multiple crimes. The Wang family paid a heavy price just to barely keep him out of prison. In the end, the entire Wang family vanished from Hucheng. After hearing this news, I understood that Wang Dating was the mastermind behind it all. I wasn't surprised, but it still put me in a foul mood. I really wanted to find young Master Wang and tell him seriously, "Young Master Wang, you've misunderstood. Everyone in the Bai family is one of my nearest and dearest. If you want me to leave the Bai family, you need to offer more money. Young Master Wang, you put so much effort into this, just to provoke me, humiliate me, and force me out of the Bai family. Too bad I'm shameless when money's involved. Bribing all those people must have cost you plenty, right?" Thinking of that, I beat the ground and wailed in fury. "Did it never occur to you to use that money to bribe me directly? My demands aren't high. I'm easy to satisfy. If someone offered me a few tens of millions to buy out my contract, I'd pack up and get the hell out and make room for them. I mean it. What a mess. I got humiliated and didn't even get paid for it. It feels like I missed out on a fortune. This hurts so much. The sadness is overwhelming. The gift box incident was finally settled. The Bai family successfully purged a group of outside enemies and inside traitors. Then came the time to reward those who had contributed. In recognition of your service to the Bai family, your monthly salary will be adjusted to 300,000 yuan. You will also receive an additional bonus of 2 million yuan today. If you have any other requests, you may state them directly. Hearing the reward chief executive by Ningbing offered, I could clearly feel that I could barely suppress my grin. Get a grip, mouth. Stop grinning. Show some self-control. No, thank you, President Bai. If you have no further instructions, I'll be going now. I wanted to hurry somewhere private and celebrate. Wait, you. But Bai Ningbing suddenly stopped me. Then she stared at me blankly. She looked at me silently, saying nothing. She stared until I started feeling uneasy. After a long while, Bai Ningbing spoke softly. Fangs, you're remarkable. We could try being a real married couple, a real family. This time, I was the one staring blankly at Bai Ningbing. I thought it through carefully, sorting out my thoughts. After a long time, I gave her my answer. President Bai, if you're serious, then please allow me to refuse. Oh, why? President Bai, although we've been married for nearly 2 years. In truth, I've only worked for the Bai family for 2 years. Chief Executive Bai Ningbing nodded, accepting my point. She motioned for me to continue. The truth is, the two of us aren't suited to be husband and wife. From your perspective, after 2 years together, you may have developed some feelings for me, but among those feelings, take away the attachment my face gives you, and the ease of having an obedient, sensible employee. Then how much of it is truly about liking me, Fangs, you as a person? And from my perspective, what I feel for you includes obedience toward my boss, respect for my superior, and attraction to a beautiful, wealthy woman. Once all that is stripped away, how much is truly about liking you, Bai Ningbing, as a person? Bai Ningbing fell silent, and I let out a long sigh. Bai Ningbing, I can't make up for the regret in your heart. I'm not that person from your past who slipped away. I'm only his shadow. Even if you marry that shadow, even if you gain a moment of false tenderness, it can't make those past mischances and regrets whole again. The voids in your heart, what came too late, what you couldn't have, what you can't return to, are ones I can't fill. Bai Ningbing's eyes had reddened, but I knew that I had to lay everything bare now. With a relationship this complicated, we aren't suited to be husband and wife. So let's stop hurting and tormenting each other. Bai Ningbing remained silent for a very long time. At last, she spoke in a distant voice. I understand. I overstepped. There's nothing else. Go back to work. For a long time afterward, everything was peaceful. Just when I thought I could keep mooching off the Bai family as their obedient lapdog, fate took an abrupt turn. One day, my childhood friend Shen actually walked out of Chief Executive Bai Ningbing's office. Shen Bayu's eyes were red as she sniffled repeatedly. Bai Ningbing personally saw her out. She even affectionately patted her head and comforted her gently. That unbelievable sight nearly made my eyes pop out. When Shen Bayu saw me, she shot me a sharp glare. With an arrogant huff, she swept away. Bai Ningbing gave me a meaningful look, then turned and left. Knowing my childhood friend, that girl, was definitely up to no good. Sure enough, 3 days later, in the chief executive's office, a divorce agreement lay before me. I looked over its terms. The Bai family would give me a house and a car, plus 5 million yuan in compensation. The terms were extremely generous. President Bai, what exactly did Shen Bayu tell you? A faint smile played on Bai Ningbing's lips, while her voice remained calm. She said a lot, but there is one thing I believe Shen Bayu was right about. Fangs, you're a wonderful man, but you're not the one for me. You're the one for Shen Bayu. So sign it. Her cryptic answer left me completely confused. But things had come this far, and I couldn't make a scene. I picked up the divorce agreement and signed my name. That ended our marriage of more than 2 years. A month later, the divorce was finalized. I was free again. As promised, I received the house, car, and compensation from the Bai family. Carrying my few belongings, I quietly returned to my hometown. Then I headed straight to Shen Bayu's home. I stormed in, kicking open my childhood friend's bedroom door. When she saw it was me, she dived headfirst beneath the blankets in fright, leaving her big butt sticking out. Without mercy, I started smacking her exposed butt. As I hit her, I cursed. Shen Bayu, what the hell did I ever do to you? Did you have to cut off my source of income? From beneath the blanket, Shen Bayu shot back in a muffled voice. If you hadn't divorced her, when would it ever have been my turn? We grew up together. I was here first. Why did you go become someone else's husband? That morning, You said you were going to an interview, but you came back saying you were marrying someone else. What normal person does something that ridiculous? Hearing that, I froze. She actually had a point. That really wasn't something a normal person would do. I sat cross-legged on Shen Bayu's bed and thought for a moment. Shen Bayu, remember saying you'd keep me as your kept man. Come on,